Hello there again. This is Eddie Welch with Centrify, and this is a bit of a follow-up video to a video that I recently did where we discussed shared account password management using the Centrify RESTful API framework to make shared account password management automated tasks a little bit easier for things like password checkout, check-in, and rotation. But the last time we talked about integrating that functionality with Jira. This time is a little different. We're going to expand on how you can pretty much do the same thing with ServiceNow automation. And by doing so, you can add more traceability and compliance around these shared account password events. So I'm going to toggle over to my terminal. And if you have not checked out the previous video for RESTful API calls to check out passwords, I would encourage you to do so. It should be included in the same blog post. So I go a little bit more in detail about the API calls themselves. So definitely check that out. This time I'm going to go a little bit faster on the scripts themselves. So we know that we want to do things like get a list of resources, so we can call our Python script to do that. So we're connecting to our identity cloud service, and we're getting back a list of privileged resources. Now I want to do some account management for some of the accounts on one of these resources. It's going to be this Windows machine here. And I'm going to execute my Python script to get accounts. My parameter is going to be the resource or machine that I want to pull the account from. And now I've got a list of accounts. Let's say I want to check out a password for my system administrator account. I can call my password checkout. And I'm going to give it the account ID that I'd like to check out the credentials for, in this case, system administrator. So when I execute that script, two things basically happen. The checkout itself, the password is returned to me for my use or potentially an application's use. I receive a checkout ID. And last time we created a Jira ticket to track this. This time we're creating a ServiceNow ticket. So let me actually dive into the password checkout script itself. And if I kind of scroll down to the bottom, you can see here is where I've added some ServiceNow integration. And basically, just like the Centrify Identity Service uses RESTful API in order to do the actual password checkout and rotation, we're using RESTful API framework, in this case, being offered by ServiceNow to actually integrate and create tickets that have to do with these password checkout activities. So if I go back, I have executed the password checkout. So I'm going to go into my Centrify Identity Service or Platform dashboard, and I should have an active checkout. If I'm signed in as the cloud administrator, you can see here, as we had before, we time boxed the actual password checkout to 30 minutes. So we're tracing that here. So now let's go over to ServiceNow. And you can see I've got a list of tickets. The last ticket that I have ends in 010. And if I refresh my list here, you can see a new ticket ending in 011 was created. So I've got a description of password checkout executed for account, system administrator, and I'm able to get some logging out of this, right? Get some insight. I've got a state of the ticket as new, and I've got a timestamp and all that good stuff. So now what do we want to do? Well, we want to do what we need to do with the password and then check it back in. So now we're going to execute our password check-in script. Now, this particular script is going to take 2 arguments. Last time it was the checkout ID for the checkout event, and then the Jira ticket number. This time it's going to be the checkout ID and the ServiceNow ticket number. So each checkout event has a unique identifier. We're going to grab that here and pass it in as an argument or parameter into our password check-in script. And then we need the ServiceNow ticket to go ahead and update. So that's why when I created the ServiceNow ticket via the Python script, I went ahead and just printed out pretty much the entire JSON response, which gives a lot of great attributes and gives you a lot of good flexibility. The one we're concerned with in this example is going to be this sysID. So this is going to be the unique identifier associated with the ticket that was just created. So we're going to pass that in, and our password check-in script is going to make an API call to the Centrify identity service to go ahead and actually check in the password, and then it's going to make a separate RESTful API call to our ServiceNow instance to say the passwords have been checked in, and here are some notes. Go ahead and close the ticket. So I've got my 2 arguments, and I'll execute my password check-in Python script. And you can see I've got an OK status that I've printed out, and I've got my JSON response from the ServiceNow API call. So let's go over to our cloud dashboard. And if I refresh, I should no longer have any active password checkouts, and I don't, so that's good. If I go over to my ServiceNow instance, ticket that was created was this guy right here. I'll give it a refresh. And you can see here that the ticket state is now closed. Now, I should have some additional notes that I included. So let me try kind of refreshing this for a second. So same ticket ending in 011. You can see that the state is closed, was new, but I'm not sure why I'm not finding the additional comments. Let me try this. All right, here's the screen that I wanted to see. So instead of being in the self-service bucket, I think I needed to be in the service desk bucket. Either way, same ticket ending in 011. We've got the description from when the ticket was created, but now it's recently been closed. but then we included some closure information. So we gave it a close code from the REST API call, and we gave it some notes saying that the API call closed this ticket, the password was checked into the Centrify identity service, password was rotated, and we're going to close everything out. So in recap, we've got a follow-up video to our shared account password management using Centrify RESTful API framework. This time we showed how we can integrate ServiceNow to make our shared account password management logging and overall experience more robust. Hopefully you learned something, and if you have any questions, let us know, and we're looking forward to the next video. Thank you.